This episode is sponsored by The Dream Exit. The Dream Exit is a private, bespoke program for successful entrepreneurs with annual revenue between $5 million and $100 million who realize that they have one chance to get their dream exit right, and that the odds of realizing that dream by themselves, all alone, or at the last minute are stacked against them. In less than 90 days, we teach you how to design, build, and execute a customized dream exit playbook that gets your business ready for sale at its maximum value and gets you ready to maximize your meaning and purpose in your post-exit life, even if today you are not ready to sell. You see, dream exits just don't happen. They are the result of early, professional, and proven planning. So if you're an entrepreneur with annual sales between 5 and 100 million, and you want to learn how to 10x to 100x your chances of achieving the dream exit you deserve, go to dreamexitplaybook.com today. Hey everybody, welcome back to this Free Thinking Friday episode of the How to Happen podcast, solo episode that I'm doing today. I was inspired to do this when we were on our pontoon boat. I had my family out on the pontoon boat. We were cruising around the lake and we were just talking about things. And this particular thing happened to come up and it made me think, I never would have thought of that. And I'm calling it what other people think still matters. So what other people think still matters. So on August 30th, this may have come out by the time you're listening to this, but I recorded a podcast episode with a fellow named Brian Clayton. And Brian is the CEO and co-founder of a company called GreenPal. GreenPal is a nationwide lawn care platform. You can become a member, join onto their program, and they will basically manage the cutting and care of your lawn. And I remember that one of the magazines, I think it was Entrepreneur Magazine, referred to his company as the Uber of lawn care. And just an aside, people, you see a lot of software companies, maybe in other companies, they're like dying to be compared to Uber. They want to be the Uber of whatever it is that they do. In Brian's case, lawn care. And that wasn't something he was looking for, but that was applied to him. But other people are looking to it. They'll do a pitch deck or an investor presentation, and they'll actually describe their company as being the Uber of something. And it's supposed to make you think that it's going to be this amazing, growing, profitable company. But it's always kind of interesting to me because Uber has definitely grown a lot. I mean, they're everywhere and they're into a bunch of different things, but they haven't made money yet. And so it makes me wonder if they ever will. And then if I want to ever be the Uber of anything, because like in Brian Clayton's case, for example, his company, GreenPal, is actually does make money and has always made money from the beginning, which kind of is the purpose of a business. But anyway, that's an aside. The reason that I'm talking to you about what other people think still matters is because my niece, she's 32, and she was telling us the story on the boat about getting on her Uber app and ordering a car to take her somewhere in, I think it was Nashville, Tennessee. And so the driver came and picked her up. It was a female driver that picked her up. And the first question the woman asked my niece was, "Do you live in the Northeast?" And my niece, Christina, thought, well, that's a weird question to ask. And she says, well, I live in the Washington, D.C. area. And the woman says something like, I figured, because your Uber rating sucks. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, when I see Uber ratings this low, I often think that it's because, the person lives up in the Northeast and the Uber drivers there aren't as kind with their ratings as we might be here in Nashville. So that started a discussion about what is your Uber rating? So we had, 8 people on the boat, and I never looked at my Uber rating, and I don't know that anyone ever looked at their Uber rating. And I didn't even know how to look at my Uber rating. So we started talking about how to find your Uber rating and what everyone's was. And by the way, you click on your picture, your profile picture, and then it goes down and it tells you what your rating is. So the youngest person on the boat was 26 and the oldest was 59. And it was amazing how much how quickly you could get someone interested in and caring about an Uber rating that is the byproduct of a bunch of really anonymous people's opinions about your trip with them. You don't know which driver gave you what rating, and you also don't know what they said. Right? So you have no, that I'm aware of, you don't have any mechanism for challenging it or asking for the reason or asking to get it changed if for example your rating is low. But here's the thing that was really, so the Uber rating I think is a 0 to 5 scale. And I believe Christina's rating was like a 4.3, which that sounds pretty good to me. But this Uber driver in Tennessee explained to her, 4.3 is really low. There's a lot of drivers that will not pick up a 4.3. Imagine that. So 4.3 out of 5, and there's a lot of drivers not willing to pick you up. The whole discussion made me think that, people who say, well, I don't care what other people think about me, I'm just my own, they may not be telling the truth, because everyone that got people's attention and everyone on the boat cared at least a little bit or a little bit more than they had before about what what our score was on this Uber thing. And I got lucky because my score was just slightly the highest out of everybody's at 4.95, and I don't even take that many Ubers, and I don't know what I did to get a 4.95. Maybe it was just, I wasn't in the Northeast when I took the Ubers. I'm not sure. But yeah, it got me thinking, like, when it comes down to things that we care about, how people perceive us really matters. And it matters even if it's an anonymous person who takes us on a 15-minute ride somewhere. We want to be highly ranked. It's like we want that meritocracy in our lives. Like if the ratings are going to be there, we want to be rated highly, even if we have no idea why, because it says something to us about us. We don't get to participate in it at all, but we want that rating to say something about us, and will always be important to us what other people think about us, how other people perceive us. I did an episode a couple of Free Thinking Fridays ago about integrity, and there was a similar message in there. What people think about our integrity matters a lot, because their perception is the perception really that matters. We're not trying to convince ourselves we got great integrity. We're trying to convince the world, the people who know us, that we do have great integrity. And I think the same thing comes down with this Uber thing. We care about what people say, and we are willing to adjust our behavior in order to improve our score, in this case, our Uber rating. And I think in some cases, I think that's the way it should be. That's right. I mean, I don't think it's right to obsess about it and give the power of how you think about yourself over to the Uber drivers who take you from place to place. But, how you treat people matters all the time. And these Uber ratings and how they reflect who you are onto another anonymous Uber driver opening the app when you request a ride, well, it matters. So I don't know, check out what your Uber rating is, see if it's where you think it should be, or where it's not where you should be. But if you're like me, it'll be the first time you ever checked it, and maybe there's something that's going to make your day or going to surprise you there. But my point in doing this is to simply say it was a great conversation. And that what other people think, how other people perceive you, does in fact matter. So do me a favor, please maximize the greatness that's inside of you today. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope you did get some value out of it. And if you did, please follow or subscribe to the show, share it, talk to somebody about it, talk to me about it, send me an email, do something with it. And I also want you to do something with your future. You know what I want you to do with your future? I want you to make it yours. I want you to make it your property, something that you actually own, that you pay for, own, and covet, and that you are exceptionally proud to own too. So make your future your property. Until next time, bye. Hey, Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. And before you go, I just have 3 requests for you. 1, if you like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing or following the podcast on whatever podcast platform you prefer. If you're really into it, leave me a review, write something nice about me, give me 5 stars or whatever you feel is most appropriate. Number 2, I've got a book. It's called Ownershift: How Getting Selfish Got Me Unstuck. It's an Amazon bestseller. And I'd love for you to read it or listen to it on Audible or wherever else, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can get it everywhere. If you're looking for inspiration that will help you unlock your greatness and potential, order or download it today so that you can have your very own copy. And if you get it, please let me know what you think. Number 3, my newsletter. I do a newsletter every Thursday, and I talk about things that are interesting to me or I give more information about the podcast and the podcast guests that I've had and the experiences that I've had with them. You can sign up for the podcast today at my website, which is my name, MikeMalatesta.com. You do that right now, put in your email address, and you'll get the very next issue. The newsletter is short, thoughtful, and designed to inspire, activate, and maximize the greatness in you.